Perfect.
What's going on, everybody? What's up? Let's see who in the chat. Let's see. Okay, I see you, Leroy. What's going on, Deland? I see you. From Cali, I see you. What's going on, big dog? What's going on with everybody? It's been a minute. What's going on, Carlos? I see you. Y'all go ahead and slap that like button for me. Yo, let me know, is that music too loud? Let me know if that music's too loud.
Perfect.
What's going on, Z Customs? Hey, you guys let me know if that music is too loud. Too low, too loud. Let me know. Appreciate you, Z. I see you, Jamal Brunson. What's going on? Man, I've been alright, man. I've been really busy, man. I mean, really busy. Between lawns and cars, man, I'm doing like 5 or more jobs every day. I literally have to take a day off. Like, I have to actually just not take any appointments and just take off, man, because it is, I mean, I've been humping. I got some videos in the can already. I just hadn't, well, actually not videos, I just got one video, which is a lawn care video that I've been editing, but I've been editing on it like, for a minute now, and I haven't, a little bit here and there, but I haven't had the chance to sit down and just actually edit it and put it out, and I don't want to put out anything, so it's just sitting in my computer. I just got to the point where I just had to take a break from making videos and editing videos, because the editing is not really the hard part, but that can be difficult. It's actually filming, having to be out there working and filming as you. Really too loud. What about that? How is that? But yeah, just actually filming while working. When you have other appointments to go to, or sometimes the location that you're at, it just don't be the best time to record. And I've been doing a lot of like tree trimming jobs and bush trimming jobs and land mulch and pine straw and stuff like that. and sometimes I have like 2 or 3 back to back, and I'm not trying to move a camera around. So that's why I haven't been putting out any videos lately. Just and then it's good to take a break from it, cause sometimes on those videos, man, I go in pretty hard. I think I have over like thug life, yep. I think I have about if you check my YouTube, I think I have over 400 videos. 400 plus videos. So man, it can get so I can do it. It's just that with everything, man, you got to take breaks. You can't just be going in too hard. Going in real hard and not actually like. See, another thing I do too is I'll go hard on like my work and in videos that I don't do anything else. Like I don't clean my truck. I don't. Things that are just as important as the work and doing the videos. I'm neglecting and pushing it off and say I'll do it later. And then later turns into a week, and then a week turns into 3 weeks, and then 3 weeks turns into a month, and then a month turns into 2 months, and you know how it goes. You don't get anything done, especially like things around the house and stuff like that. So I do that from time to time. Like if you go look at my YouTube, well, shoot, you'll have to really, really look into it. But there are times where I've taken breaks, like weeks and months, where I don't put anything out, not even a live, nothing. I just take that time off to get myself back together. And then when I kind of get used to everything starts to slow down, then I'll go back to doing it. Oh, that's cool. Okay, I see you, Z. Yeah, I see you, Z, man. You got a lot going on, big dog. I know what it's like.
Perfect.
But man, let me get into it, man. The title of this is basically just be happy with your success. And you can be content with the success that you done made so far, but don't be complacent. Don't be content with the overall success. Always want to move forward. I want to get that out the way. I'm not saying that, most of us, we like to keep pushing and get bigger and grow and grow and grow. And that's how you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be constantly changing. But in the present, your success that you have now, be happy with it. Because, and the reason why I'm thinking about this is that I was talking to someone the other day, and they told me that they was having a conversation with a person, and after that conversation, they just felt down and they was mad because the person didn't acknowledge their success. And it brought me back when, sometimes when I'm talking to people and they let me know what they're going through, and especially in business, it often triggers something that happened to me, a situation that happened to me. And while we're talking, I'll share it with them and try to tell them how I dealt with it. And if I didn't deal with it properly, I'll tell them how I didn't deal with it properly, and then I'll tell them how I wish I would have handled it, so they won't make the same mistake. But the thing is that we live in a society that we get rewarded for everything. When you're in kindergarten, you get, you remember when you used to do good, you get those little stars, or you get a sticker, or you get a piece of candy for doing well. I remember when I was in kindergarten, we used to get those little stars, like gold and silver stars on your homework or whatever you did, and just to show that you did a good job. And when other teachers, kindergarten teachers, and when other kindergartners, I don't know if that's a real word, but when they see that, they know that you did something good, that you accomplished something. If you got a piece of candy, they know that you did good today. Well, as life went on, that's what happened. As we grew older, it started becoming like trophies and rewards and certificates and things of that nature. So you want to be, you see other people getting acknowledged, and as you was growing up, you were seeing other kids getting acknowledged, getting the gold stars, getting all the stuff, and you wanted to be acknowledged too. So that made you work harder so you can be acknowledged. Well, in the field that we are in now, there ain't no rewards, like not rewards, but awards. That's what I'm trying to say, awards. You're not going to get a star. You're not going to get a trophy. You're not going to get, you may go to certain classes and get a certificate. But that's pretty much it, and unless you're talking to other detailers that know what's going on, nobody will know your success unless they judge it by materialistic things like a house, cars, clothes, and stuff like that. So, it got me thinking back to that conversation I had with a friend of mine. It got me thinking back to all right, sorry about that. I don't know what just happened. But when my business first started doing well, I wanted people to know. But there was no way of letting them know unless I tell them myself. And it's different when you tell people yourself. It comes off like you're bragging. So I didn't really have anybody to talk to. And I'm glad that I, found people on YouTube like G-Work, Sporties, Clean Right, where we can talk and we can, with a lack of better words, brag on ourselves. It's not bragging, but we're sharing our successes and things that happen to us. And, we got a new contract, or we had a big payday, or just things that will go on during with our business. We can share that with each other. Well, some of you guys may not have that. Y'all may not have some money y'all can go back and forth with. So you have to be happy with the success that you have within, because if you're happy with your success from within, like like for me, for instance, like I said, I always wanted people to, I would bring it up in conversation. I would throw it in there. Like, we could be talking about something. I'll find a way to make it about my business and try to, because I'm looking for that acknowledgement. And I would never get it. And you won't get it. It wasn't until I started just saying, you know what, I'm gonna write these goals down. I'm gonna tackle these goals, and when I would win those goals, when I actually accomplish those goals, I would just be like, man, I would be happy. So, when you see me out and about, sometimes I'm cutting grass, I'm smiling, I'm driving, I'm smiling because I'm in my head with it. And you got to be happy with your success. You got to be content in the moment with your success. That way, if people don't give you a reward, not a reward, an award, and if they don't acknowledge you, you don't care because you know for yourself you're doing good. The thing is that you only have to prove it to yourself. You don't owe anybody anything. You don't have to prove anything to anybody, and that's the problem. I was that's what I was explaining to him. I was just telling him like, look, man, don't worry about those people. Better yet, stop talking about that because they don't understand. You're talking a foreign language to them. Talk to people that understand, and that's why you have to. That's why people always say, surround yourself with like-minded individuals. Because they will understand. They won't look at it as bragging. And y'all can share each other's success stories of the day to each other. You get what I'm saying? What's going on, Danny? What's going on, Tolly? Javon Patrick, I see you. No, I don't make my own beats. Brandon Robbins, I see you. What's going on? Hey, now. Right, I see you, Z. Exactly. But again, be content with your success. Not complacent, but be content with your success in the present. If you're me every year, like I said, I keep up with my numbers. I've been keeping up with my numbers from year one up until now. I can go back to my phone and look at year one. So whenever I'm feeling, because sometimes you can get the monotony and you can get bored because you're kind of doing the same thing day after day after day. And then, things don't switch up as much sometimes. And then, you can be talking to someone and you can be telling someone how well you're doing. And then that person will try to say something that will, because sometimes, like I said, it can come off as bragging, and that can piss people off. And what'll happen is, what they'll do is they'll probably try to point out something negative. And it could be true, but they can just try to point out something negative about your business or about, you or something like that may be true. And just to ruin your day because they're tired of hearing you bragging. And it can put you in a bad mood and just have bad energy around you. So my thing is that once I learned to be content and be happy with my success, I stopped doing it. I didn't bring it up as often. The only time I talked about it is somebody brought it up to me. I never really bring it up. And sometimes, and this I actually got tricked this weekend like that. This past weekend. Somebody asked me about the business, and then they baited me, and then we started going back and forth, and they was trying to tell me how I should do my business, and this don't make no sense, and this and this and this and that. But it didn't piss me off, but it made me have a conversation that I didn't want to have.
Perfect.
So my next step would be when I get those when people try to bait me in, I'll just be short. I won't go into detail, but it's kind of hard not to go in when somebody asks you something that you're passionate about. And sometimes that's how they get you in because, if someone has a problem with you personally or has a problem with you being successful, and you'd be surprised, people will, especially if they're not successful and they know that you're successful, they would try to say things that, like I said earlier, they would try to say things to, put you in a bad mood or make you feel like, oh, you're not as successful as you think you are. And they will say certain things. And it doesn't bother. It used to bother me, but it doesn't bother me now simply because I'm happy with what I'm doing. And I know what I'm doing and I know what I've accomplished. We're self-employed, so there's no magazine or no type of outlet that showcases our awards and our successes and things that we're doing. I mean, you can tell somebody, hey man, I made this much money. You know, hey, I can show you my bank account. Like, people don't want, that like I said, it comes off as bragging. Like I said, you just got to keep it up here, keep it right here, and don't worry about it. You know. Well, man, Z, my biggest award or personal accomplishment is, and that's easy, man. It's when I started making the same amount of money that I was making at my job. Once I was making salary numbers, and I knew that I can actually take care of my bills and everything that needed for me to live comfortably. That was the biggest award, man. That was the biggest accomplishment, to where like I'm a real business. You know, it's real. Like, I'm actually making a living, something that's off me. You see? And it wasn't much, because at the police, I'll tell y'all, when I was at the police department, I base salary, and I'm in Mississippi. You know, Mississippi is the poorest state in the nation. I was in the capital city, and we was making they started me out with I want to say, I think it was in the academy, it's like 26,000. When you graduate to the academy, it went up to 38, and I think when I left, I was making like 30,000. But I worked a lot of overtime, and I did a lot of moonlighting, so that made up for it. But it took me maybe like a year and a half, 2 years to get to that 30,000 a year. You know, well, it was just, my numbers kept going up, so I only made 30,000 one year. The next year was much higher. But when I made that amount, when I got to that point, I was like, wow, like, I actually making what on my own, doing less work, getting paid what my job was paying me. You know, I haven't seen 30,000. I haven't seen numbers that low in years. 30,000 a year, I ain't seen that in a long time. It's much higher than that. So that is my biggest accomplishment, man. Because when I started doing it, that was my main goal. I want to support my family off this, and I was able to do that. Yes, I'm LLC Jamal Bronson. What's going on, C's up? James Amerson, I see you, big dog. Yeah, good question, Z. Never thought about that. Right. I see you, Z. You're right. I appreciate that. Yeah, man. And that's the thing, man. Like, because sometimes, when I'm paying, I'm just looking at my surroundings and just looking at people. It's kind of like people are trying to prove themselves to other people. Dude, man, listen, and then another thing, man, another accomplishment, Z, is when I bought my wife the Forerunner back in 2017. I bought my wife, and that's something that I always wanted to do. Always wanted to buy. My dad bought my mom cars, and I wanted to do the same thing. And I was, to be able to afford to pay a car note monthly and never late. You know what I'm saying? All for business. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember when I first started, I was afraid to take on something big because I was already had a mortgage, and I was afraid to take on anything else big. Being a business, because you never know what can happen from day to day. But I just had too many consistent years and consistent weeks and consistent days to where I was like, man, I can afford it. And I mean, but again, man, you don't have to prove anything to anybody. You know,
Perfect.
I see this all the time, man, especially in the YouTube videos. You know, when I watch a couple of people's videos, I'm not gonna say no names, but I watch a few videos, and sometimes when I listen to them and the things people say, it comes off as that they trying to prove something to somebody or trying to impress somebody. And you know, when you do that, that shows that it shows two things. It shows that you're not content, you're not happy with the way things are going, or it can be that no one acknowledges your success. And that's the problem that I had. You know, nobody, not even my parents, nobody was like, man, you're doing great. I'm proud of you. Oh, that's awesome. This, that. Like I would say, Mom, I did this. She'd be like, oh, okay. You know, and I don't know because it's mowing lawns and washing cars. It's not the it's not the most extravagant and it's not the most sought after career. You know, although we all know here that you can make a lot of money detailing lawn care. You know, if you do the numbers. And that's the
Perfect.
thing. I used to always be talking and say, hey man, just do the numbers, man. I do this many yards a day at this price. I make this amount a day. You do this times this, and you make this much a month, and then this a month, a year, and all that. I would always be doing that. And man, them people didn't care, man. They was like just looking at me like, oh, okay, yeah. They didn't care. And if they did, they showed up. They showed made me feel like they didn't care. So it wasn't until I just, like I said, it wasn't until I just said, you know what, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna do me, be happy with what I'm doing, and just go from there. And now I don't really care. I don't talk about it to people that's not in the business. Because some people can't handle. Like the crazy thing about it is some people can't handle your success, and that's crazy. It's your success, and the person that has nothing to do with it, they can't handle it. So some of those things you got to keep to yourself, man. Like how much money you're making, how many yards you're doing, how many cars you're doing a day. You get this much a car and that. And you just keep it to yourself. Just be happy in here. That's why sometimes. I can't remember which video it was, but I had a video posted and I was washing a car and I was smiling. And I didn't see it when I was editing, but actually a subscriber commented and said, look, you're smiling in the thing. Because like if you catch me, like if you watch a video and you catch me smiling, I'm thinking how good everything's going, more than likely. Or I'm probably thinking about something silly Ashton did or something funny. But I'm really thinking most of the time I'm thinking about how well things are going and how bad things can be. Today, I ended up doing some cars at this distributor of Nissan. If you guys didn't know, I'm near a Nissan plant. And it's this company out here that they're a distributor of Nissan, and they called me a couple of weeks, maybe a month or so back, to come out there and do their company cars. So I go out there and do their company. They only had two company cars, a Nissan Titan and the Altima. And I ended up doing the interior detail and the wash on those vehicles. And that was the initial cleaning, and then after that, I'll be just doing maintenance just to keep the vehicles up. But ever since I did those vehicles, I think I'm supposed to come and do those vehicles like every 6 weeks. But they've been calling me to do their personal vehicles because I did such a good job on the company vehicles. Ever since I did those vehicles, I've been back to do. The other vehicles, to do personal vehicles. And I went up there this morning, knocked out 2 vehicles, came home. to hook up my trailer and go do some lawns. Well, when I'm backing up in my driveway, I look across the street, my neighbor, he has someone out there putting sod in his yard. Well, if y'all don't know, sod is grass, squares of grass or whatever. So I'm looking, and I'm like, okay. But one thing I noticed is that it was one guy, and this guy, he had to be the owner because he was the only guy out there not doing any work. And it was two other guys with him, and they were working. And he was standing there, he was pointing and doing this and pointing and all that. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, man, he got it made. But I wasn't really focused on him. I was focused on the workers. And those guys they looked to be my age or older. And I don't really look my age, or I probably do, I don't know. But most people always can't believe I'm 40 years old. But those guys look to be 40 or better, maybe 45 or better. And I'm just looking at them, and it was hot out there, and the guy that was, directing them, telling them, hey, go over here, do this, do that. He had his arms crossed the whole time like this, and then he stands under the tree to get out of the sun. They're in the sun, moving, throwing squares of grass on a wheelbarrow, and they're pushing it and dropping it, and they're sweating, and you can see them getting water and everything. And then at some points, he got in the truck. He got in the truck and was sitting in the truck, and I guess he would crank it up to let the AC blow on. I was like, wow. Like I said, I was focused on them because I don't ever want to be in that position. I'd rather be the guy that's standing there like this, but I'm not that type of person. I'll be out there working too. But if I had to choose to be those guys, the owner, I would be the owner, if y'all get what I'm saying. But I'm bringing that up to say that things can be worse, So if you feel like you're not where you're supposed to be, I hear a lot of people say, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I'm not quite where I want to be. I'm not quite. But look at what you have accomplished and be happy with what you accomplished is what I'm saying. All the goals that you've met, be happy about it and smile. Look back at it and say, wow, I've accomplished this. And continue to look forward to get better, but be happy with what you've done, because things can always be worse. A lot of us out here, we own our own businesses, we're self-employed, we work for ourselves. We don't have anybody standing over us telling us what to do. You know what I'm saying? And not to be in that position is a blessing, because unless you like doing it, but I was just looking at those guys, I was just like, wow. I was like, wow, man, I couldn't do that. I can't do that, especially at 40. I mean, he was pointing and, directing, hey, do that. I'm like, man. At one point he went and, he kicked some stuff around and, yeah, you got to do it like this. And I'm like, wow. So, always remember, it can always be worse. Be happy with your success. Yeah, I was born in 78. I see you, Aaron Joyce. Shouts out to the new wave. I see you. What's going on, David Harris? I see you.
Perfect.
I see you, Aaron Joyce. Actually, man, I appreciate you, man. I'm glad you like my videos and stuff, man. When did I add the detailing services? Well, the thing is that I wanted to do, when I started off, I wanted to do detailing. I had been like mowing lawns my whole life. I grew up mowing lawns. It was something that I enjoyed to do at my parents' house. Like, nobody told me to do it. My dad had a lawnmower weed eater. It was a guy that lived across the street. I would watch him do the yard and everything, and I was like, man, I want my yard to look like that. So I would go out there and practice. And over the years, I just got real good at it. I wanted to start detailing first. I didn't really even want to do the landscaping. I mean, the lawn care, actually. I didn't want to do it. But the issue is that just like a lot of people that go on YouTube searching for answers and stuff, I didn't have the answers. I didn't know where to get a water tank from. I didn't know how to get the hose to connect to the pressure washer. I've never used a pressure washer until I started my detailing business. First time I ever touched a pressure washer was 2012. Didn't know how pressure washers work. Didn't know. I've never used a generator before I started doing detailing. Didn't know anything. So I wanted to start a business. And I wanted to start something immediately. So what I did is I went with what I knew, and I worked with what I already had. I already had a lawnmower, weed eater, and all that stuff. So once I started doing that and started making a little money from that, I was doing my research on the detailing the whole time. So 2012, I started my lawn service. January 2012, and I want to say maybe June or July of that same year, I added the detailing services, and it's been booming ever since. All I did was I had already got about, I want to say maybe 10 to 12 clients in lawn care, and all I did was just tell them about it, and they were my first customers with detailing. And as time went on, it just grew and grew and grew. If you go back, I started making my first YouTube videos 2015. If you go back, you will see my hair was shorter, but you can go back and just kind of see that, I was just starting, just learning. But that's funny though, man. I actually want to just do nothing but detailing, but I think everything happens the way it's supposed to happen, because I'm better at lawn care than detailing. Yeah. Good question.
I'm young, 24, just lost my job, man. I'm really interested in trying to car detail, lawn care, and cleaning. But I don't know where to start and how long it takes to make real money.
Well, seize up. Basically, man, the quickest way to get something started is go in the direction that you know, wherever you're good at, and if you have equipment already. If you already have equipment, or if you already, you already have a foot in the door on something, you want to start that first. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, sorry to hear that you lost your job, but most of the time, a lot of people that's in this field, man, lost their jobs, had to quit. Detailing and lawn care wasn't their first choice. A lot of people, convicted felons, they can't get a regular job. So this was an option that looked good, due to the circumstances, and people made careers out of it. But another good thing, the guys you can get into that does not take a lot of money, that if you want to get into detailing and lawn care, you can start doing like cleaning houses or cleaning businesses, cleaning up banks. Because to clean up, it don't take anything. A vacuum, you have a vacuum laying around your house. You can start off with all the stuff you got around your house. You know you got a vacuum, a broom, a mop bucket, and then you just start, as you go, you start buying stuff and upgrading. Then once you get your money up, those people that you're cleaning houses for, if you want to go into lawn care, you can say, hey, I'm doing lawns now. And you can You can they can be the first people that you offer those services to, as well as detailing. And that's what I did. I started off with the lawn care, and then once I added the detailing 6 months later, I just sold that to my customers, my existing customers and clients. What's real money to me? Overseas. Okay. Yeah. I see you, Z. Yeah, and that's true. That's what I always ask people. That people always say, how much should I charge or what should I charge? And before you go into all that, one of the questions you just reminded me of is, Z Customs, you want to ask yourself, how much do you want to make? How much do you want to make? Because what's going on is a lot of people are looking for answers, and you're asking people in other states with different demographics. You're asking people with more experience than you, with less experience than you, and then y'all throwing prices around, and then somebody say, oh, your prices are too low, your prices are too high, and then you get confused, discouraged, or get fed the wrong information. The thing is that when it comes to what you want to charge, I suggest that you guys do your own research. Check out your demographics. Your prices should be based on your demographics, your experience, and some other things. You get what I'm saying? But stop looking at what other people are doing, because they ain't got nothing to do with you. A lot of people subconsciously say those things, not understanding the positive and negative effect of what comes out the mouth. I like that, Dalen. Deland, I like that.
Perfect.
Touch cash every day. Yep, exactly. Exactly. Whether it's $1, $100, I'm behind on these things. Y'all talking that talk. That's a boss, not a leader. Right. Fine for that. I see you, Deland. No, for the most part, man, as far as like dealing with my clients, none of my people I deal with, I've never signed any paperwork or made them sign any paperwork. I have people that I've been dealing with ever since 2012. I've been mowing in lawns since 2012, and I'm doing it right now in 2019. And seize up. It's just like they said. It just depends on what is good money to you. What is good money to you?
Perfect.
Appreciate your summer, Abdul. I see you. An extension wand for what? For pressure washing houses? Nah, I don't use extension wands. I mean, they have tips. Get with me after the chat. They have tips that can shoot up to 2 stories. I don't use extension wands. I have in the past though. Yeah, Mississippi weather. The sun's coming out. It's you can kind of feel the heat coming, but it's not that crazy humid hot yet. It's getting there though. We've been having like high 80s, low 90s. It hasn't been really hot, and then we've been having a nice little breeze. I don't know what's going on. It's never been like that, but we've been having a nice little breeze for the past 2 weeks. Yeah, I got you. I got you or something. And the thing is, another thing too, sees up. Let me tell you another thing about that. You got to be real careful because a lot of the questions that I'm seeing from you is like involving money.
Perfect.
When I first started doing this, I wasn't really chasing money, but I wanted to earn enough to just pay my bills. I wasn't greedy about it. I wasn't going around trying to just overcharge people. I wasn't money hungry. All I wanted to do at the time, it was very simple, because I had a nice little stash saved up, but I knew that stash was only going to last me, for maybe like 18 months, 2 years at the most. And I know those years that time can just go right by. So I wanted to, before that money ran out, I wanted to make enough just to pay my mortgage. And I went out there and I worked and I made enough just to pay my mortgage. Once I got to that point, because see, my wife was working. So while she was working, she was taking care of, what she could take care of, and I was able to pay the mortgage, and I was like, wow, that I was happy. And then I started focusing more on the business, how to advertise. I started, shooting video and taking pictures and, putting my stuff on social media. And as time went on, it just grew. My phone would ring, and I would end up going to, people's houses and giving them estimates and giving them quotes, and they like, yeah, when can you do it? And clientele got bigger and bigger and bigger, and now, I make enough to pay my mortgage, the light bill, the water bill, car note, insurances, everything. And even right now, I still don't really chase money, So just be careful, because sometimes if that's your mindset, if you're thinking about the money, it can come off on how you're dealing with customers and how you're dealing with people, and they can probably sense that. They may not know what it is, but they can sense that, and then they say, you know what, I don't want to go with him. Because I know guys out here, they overcharge for everything. It's like they're trying to get the top dollar for everything. Something they can easily charge. They can easily go for $200. They trying to charge $350, $400. And sometimes customers know if you're trying to get over. You know, you do good business, you do good work, the money gonna come. Trust me. Yo, Ashton. Hey, go grab my glasses. That top drawer, them little small drawers. It should be in a black case. Thank you, little buddy. With lawn care season in full effect, what is your lawn care to wash detailing ratio? Well, I want to say probably 70% lawns, 30% detailing. It's gone down because I don't do the group wash anymore. I've raised my prices, and so I'm still making the same amount of money because I raised my prices, but I'm doing less cars. I did the group wash for like 2 years because and I enjoyed it, man. I got a lot of experience because I was able to touch a lot of cars and learn cars that way, learn the inside. I mean, I could see a car going up the street and I could tell you the make and model and everything, but a lot of those cars I've never been on the inside of them. And that was a good thing. And then plus I made money doing it, doing the group wash. But I want to say like 70-30 or maybe 60-40. Because sometimes I do get a lot of cars and sometimes I don't. It just depends. But lawn care is my bread and butter.
Perfect.
You ain't missed that much, Tony. We just chopping it up. Javon Patrick, yeah. I know them days, man, when you sweating all over the areas you just cleaned. Exactly. What's going on, Randy? My lawn care now is in a 10-mile radius. I got it into a 10-mile radius. But the funny thing about it is that, and I'm just giving you that because I'm going for the farther out to here. But I only have 3 yards that's 10 miles out. Everything else is within a maybe 5 to 8 mile radius. And the crazy thing about it is, right here on my street, I have 5 lawns on my street. Right across the street is another neighborhood from me, and I got 5 over there. So within the walking, like I'm talking about within maybe a quarter of a mile, I have 10 yards. And tomorrow, I'll be doing 5 on my street. That's all I got to do tomorrow. The 5 on my street. So I have brought that radius in. That route is real tight.
Perfect.
My lawns are, I got all kinds, man. I got, most of them are bi-weekly. Because, people try to save as much money as they can. Because, the more you cut it, the more you cut those lawns, the more you cut those lawns, of course, the more it's going to be. But I have weeklies every 10 days. I have them all, man. Yeah, you're gonna get those every 2 weeks because that number sounds good. If you tell somebody, oh, it's gonna be 50 per cut, and you say yeah, and they be thinking like, well, let me get it every 2 months because that's $100. Versus 200 for or 250, depending on how many weeks in those months. Well, my detailing, that's one thing I've been thinking about doing. I kind of want to start doing, have some, my lawn care clients, try to get them into like once a month or something like that. But that's one thing I haven't done. The first time I interviewed Tolley's, that is when I thought about that because my lawns are like that. That'd be a good idea. It's a good way to bring in more money because it's going to be almost guaranteed cash every week or every other week or however you want to do it. But no, I don't do that as of now. Yeah, I see you guys talking about starting on the interior first. When I first started detailing, I used to do the interior first, and then I would work my way outside, and I found that easier for me. And then I remember, I think it was it a live? I did a live, and I remember talking with Sporty, and he was like, he does the outside first because, when the cars are driving by, he did it for advertising purposes. So like all of 2018, I did the outside first. But recently I went back to doing the inside first. One reason is that sometimes by doing the outside first and getting on the inside, sometimes some of the dust or some of the particles get on the outside of the vehicle. And plus, when you get that interior out the way and you're done, I feel like I'm done with the vehicle when I do that. I feel like I'm done with the vehicle because the wash is so easy. I got the hard part out the way and it's just easy selling. So I went back to doing the interiors first. That's just me. I come up with different ways to just become quicker. But it just seems like I'm a lot faster when I do that interior first. For some reason. Maybe it's just in my head.
Perfect.
Yeah, and yeah, you know what I started doing, Dylan. I started doing the
Perfect.
inside first, and I would get like an old wash mitt in a bucket of water, and I would spray, degrees in those dough jams, and I just kind of hit them. I'm not trying to get them perfect. I'll just hit them, and when I go to wash the vehicle after I do the interior and everything, when I go to wash the vehicle, I'll just hit the jams and they come out great. Uh, but that's one thing about the door jams, because sometimes you blast the door jams, you can throw something back into the vehicle, the interior that you did. So it really don't matter, because I've done them both ways. I've done the stiff. I've done the interiors first and went to the exteriors first and went back to the interior. So, but I mean, everybody's different. What works for you. No, that's pretty much it, man. I just really came on here to tell you guys, man, about just being content with your success in the present.
Perfect.
What's going on, People's Choice? I see you. I did my undergrad at Jackson State University here in Jackson, Mississippi, and I did my master's at Belhaven University, which is also here in Jackson, Mississippi. My master, my bachelor's is in criminal justice, and my master's is in business. Yeah, I did my undergrad right out of high school, but I took my undergrad to my master's took about 10 years. Oh, shoot. No, it was more than 10 years. It was like 12 years. I had a 12-year gap between my bachelor's and my master's. Oh, that's what you see, Z Customs. I appreciate it. My BA took 17 years. Oh, you went to school. You went off and on for 17 years. When I start something, most of the time when I start something, I just go right through it and get it done with. That's what you was asking earlier, but I went straight through, right out of high school to my bachelor's, went straight through. I did take like 6 months off. That's when I joined the military and went to basic training, the AIT. Came back to school, finished up. Started in 96, finished up in 2001. And then my bachelor's, I started in 2013 and finished up in 2015. I mean, my master's, 2013 to 2015. Yeah. Yeah, I remember going to school and I was seeing people 50 years old just starting, 50-year-old freshmen, 60-year-old freshmen. Sometimes, man, a lot of people go to school and they're not ready. Me personally, man, I think a lot of people should wait, before they go to college, wait a little while before they go, because sometimes, man, when you going to college at 17, all these parties going around. I remember, man, at Jackson State, you're gonna be walking through the campus and they're having a party during like playing music, jamming, having a little party in the corner over there on your way to class. So it's a lot of distractions, and if you're not focused, man, college will tear you up. Yo, the military, I was 19 kilo. What's that? I was a 91 Echo. I was a dental assistant in the military. Exactly. Like, know what you want to do before you step into it, because it's a lot of people jumping into college, man, jumping into college and didn't even know what they want while they were there. They were just there.
Perfect. Perfect.
Oh, a tanker. All right, I see you, Z. Appreciate you, Aaron Joyce. Weatherspoon, what's going on? I see you. So y'all do me a favor, man. Y'all hit that like button. Slap that like button for me. Appreciate you. Sporty's, man, Sporty's got a lot going on. He's making some big moves, so he's been kind of out of pocket. So he been making a lot of big moves. So he's kind of all over the place right now. But you know, Sporty, he's still doing his thing, man. He's still out there, you know, knocking out cars, doing his thing. He's still out there. I talked to him briefly today, and I was telling him about. I was telling him what I saw. I was telling him what I saw today about those guys, you know, working and the man pointing at him and everything. And he was like, wow. And he was just telling me, like, he was like, man, he said he bet you those guys when they was younger, they didn't think it was going to end up like that. Because I just, I was looking at that, man, I was just saying to myself, like, I know they can't like that. Like, what grown man likes another grown man to be, you know, just ordering him? You know, he was just doing this the whole time. I was like, man. I don't know. I guess it's the type of person I am, man. I just couldn't take it, man. You know, whew. But yeah, man, you know, we just talked about that briefly, and I was busy, he was busy. We hopped off the phone real fast. But yeah, he's been doing a lot of moving around. I'm gonna let him tell y'all what he got going on, because I don't know if he want me to. Oh, Sporty's in the building now. What's going on, Sporties? Thought it was Friday morning. Sporty's over there screaming thug life. Your ass taking orders. Yeah, man, I was telling them about what I saw, man. Yeah, man. Right, Osama, man. Yeah, a lot of folks don't realize the money in lawn care, man. And you know what? I don't think people really care. It's just that you're out there, it's hot, you're sweating, you're dirty. It's not no glamorous job like you're wearing, you know, suits and, you know, looking nice and smelling good, going to work every day and, you know, being around pretty women and all that all day long. You know, people don't want to sign up for that, but, you know, like I said, you got to be happy with your success, because, you know, you're not gonna get a trophy, man. Sorry, Sporties, you're not gonna get no trophy, man. You're not gonna get no trophy. You just got to be happy looking at your bank account. You just gotta look at your bank account. That's your trophy, man. That's your award. That's your gold star. Sharon Webb, I see you. What advice I have for you starting out? Basically, man, starting out, man, focus on what you're good at, man. Focus on what you're good at. Picky customers. It depends on how picky they are. If they just too crazy with it, man, I just don't deal with them at all. But when you deal with someone that's very particular, wants things a certain way, the best thing to do with those type of people is to get a clear understanding of what they want done. Find out what's, because sometimes people will call you and order, one of your expensive packages, and all they wanted was something, a stain, like one stain to be removed. And it can be the headliner, it can be right there on the sun visor, and you miss it. You miss it because, you're not paying attention. And, they can really be real picky about that one little spot. So basically just get, make sure you have a clear understanding. Both of you guys have a clear understanding of what's about to be done before you get started. And if you get a bad vibe, if they're being just very, 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 very picky, you get a bad vibe, sometimes just don't deal with them. Because at the end of the day, it's not worth it. I see you, big dog. What's going on, father and sons? I see you. Yeah, basically, Sporties, man. I was talking about just being happy with your success. Me and you've talked about this before when people don't acknowledge our success or acknowledge, what we're doing, and as most of the times it's because the fields that we're in, to some people or to most, it's not, it's not a glamorous field. People think that people couldn't imagine that you go and clean a car for $250 or $150. They won't believe it unless they was actually with you when they saw it. Around here, every time somebody see me, they hadn't seen me in a while. And you still cutting grass? You still washing cars? And a lot of people think you getting 20, $25 a yard or a car. They don't realize the amount of money that you're making. And somebody like I have a friend that's a lawyer, and she works for the city. And me and her was talking one day, and she was like, "You make more money than me." She's a lawyer. You see what I'm saying? But some people don't see it that way. Unless you got a lot of nice materialistic things that can people can kind of look at you, gauge your wealth from there, or gauge your success from that. But yeah, that's pretty much what I was talking about. Like, just being content with your success and your accomplishment in the present. Not to be complacent. Keep pushing forward. To get better, but be happy with all you accomplished. Remember where you started from, and look at where you are today. And that's what I always do. Just like, me and Sporties will be talking, man, and he'll be like, man, I was doing the car, I was just smiling, I'd just be happy, And y'all caught, like I said earlier in the chat, y'all caught me in videos smiling. It's because I'm genuinely happy, like I'm happy with my success. So I don't go searching for validation or searching for acknowledgement anymore. I used to do that. I don't do that anymore. And a conversation that I had with a friend of mine today, just got me thinking about it. And then also when I came in my driveway later in the afternoon, and I saw those guys out there working, and that guy pointing and directing and giving them orders and bossing them around and stuff like that. And I was like, man, that could be me. You know what I'm saying? It could be worse. So be happy with your success, man. You don't have to prove nothing to anybody, man. Accomplish your goals and keep pushing forward. Don't worry about it. You work hard enough and you keep accomplishing goals and you keep doing your thing, eventually people will start recognizing you. If that's what you're looking for, people will recognize you. But I don't even look for it anymore because I'm happy with what I have already accomplished. I'm happy. So I don't have anything to prove to anybody. I can care less what the next person thinks because it don't matter. Pretty much it, man. But what's going on, Jesse?
Exactly. Exactly, Osama. That's man. We talk about that all the time.
Yeah, man. You're right all the time, man. Man, we talk about that all the time. You know, and sometimes that's a way of people like taking jabs at you, man. You still washing cars, you still mowing lawns, you still cutting yards. That's how they talk down in Mississippi. You still cutting yards, man. I'd be like, yep. It don't bother me not one bit, man, because and especially if it's somebody that I used to work with, I know what you making, and I know how hard it is, man. I'm talking about, man. I remember I was on the police department, man. I'm talking about, man. You had police officers couldn't even pay their mortgage, man. Couldn't even pay getting cars repoed. Just couldn't do it, man. You know, I'm talking about 2 and 3 kids, wife, house. I'd be like, man, you know, when I first, because you know, when I was in the police department, every time I got promoted, I had something, I had something that let everybody know without me saying anything that I got promoted. Like when you got promoted in the police department, a memo went out to all precincts to let know who all got promoted. When you're a patrolman, you got a silver badge. When you make detective, you get a gold badge. If you make SWAT, you get a SWAT pin. You know, if you get sergeant, you get your rank. So everybody know when you get promoted, you're acknowledged. But in the field that we're in, we're not acknowledged for what we do. You could have went and made $1,000 today, and you just made $1,000. You can go say, "Hey man, I made $1,000 washing cars." You know, you're gonna piss somebody off, or somebody gonna think you lying. So I mean, you just keep it to yourself, man, and then I be paying attention to what's going on out here, man. I be seeing a lot, and you got people who you could just tell every move they make is to prove something to somebody, or they're trying to prove something to somebody, or they trying to impress somebody, And I'm like, do what you gonna do because you wanted to do it. Because a lot of moves I see being made, a lot of moves that I see being made is pretty much to just show somebody, like, to prove something to somebody. Look, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm detailing this car, I'm cutting this lawn, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Man, be content and be happy with what you got. And just keep pushing forward and get better. Trust me. Somebody eventually will acknowledge you. Somebody eventually will see, man, you doing your thing. Just keep putting the work in. I said it before, man, like, I have people say I do a real good job. I can say I do a real good job all day long. I'm supposed to say that. But it's a whole lot better when you don't say anything and everybody around you is saying, that's the man. That's that guy right there. It's a whole lot better.
Exactly.
Javon Patrick, man, the best thing to do, man, is you keep a very good schedule. I use Google Calendar, and I already have all my lawn care clients are already scheduled for all the way to November. Uh, so when I wake up in the morning, I wake up with an alarm, and once I hit my phone, the lawns I have to do that day are already there lined up for me. When I get in my truck, uh, I go out and go to my phone and I make a list of the lawns that I have to do that day, and as I do them, I check them off on my phone. Uh, if someone calls me to do a detail, like what I do is I do 5 yards a day. I try to do like anywhere from 3 to 5 a day. Uh, More than likely, I try to do 5 a day. And so if somebody calls me and they want to get a detail, and if they want evening hours, from like 3, 3 and later, I'll get up early, knock my yards out the way in enough time to where I can make that appointment. If they want the morning half, I'll go do the car and then come back home, uh, relax for just a second, not too long, and then I'll go knock out the yards. Uh, but I use the Google Calendar. I keep a very, very good schedule. And already having your schedule already done out for weeks and weeks and weeks in advance. So if somebody call you up and want to do something, you check that day to see what you have. Uh, and the thing about it is when you start getting busy and you're getting a lot of customers, the best thing to do is start going up on your prices. Go up a little bit. And what'll happen is, some of those customers, they're not really serious. They're not real serious customers or clients. They're gonna fall off, and you can only deal with the people that's gonna really, give you top dollar and be worth your time. I had to learn that because, I had people like I actually talked to a lady the other day, and matter of fact, the beginning of the season, I called her, she didn't answer the phone. Went to her house, knocked on the door twice. Left my card in the mailbox. She didn't get back with me. I want to say about a week ago, she calls me and she's ready for me to cut a yard. Okay. Now we've been cutting grass since March. We're at the end of May, almost June. Now she wants me to come cut a yard. But what she did was she was letting her neighbor cut the yard. And I understand you got to do what you got to do. But one thing I don't like customers who do all that. I don't like that. Because to me, it makes me feel that it's not going to be something consistent. And I don't like wasting my time. Because what they'll do is they'll let anybody come and do their lawn if the price is cheaper. And then they'll never want to. It's kind of like the things that need to be done on the lawn, they don't want to do it because the price is not the price that they want. And so me and her was talking, and she was asking me when I cut the yard, do I pull something? It was something that she was asking me. I couldn't understand what she was saying. And I told her that I would have to look at it when I get there because I didn't really know what she was talking about. But I told her, for the most part, anything that's extra will be extra. Now, if it's something small that will take me a few minutes, a few seconds to just rip up, then I wouldn't charge for that. But if it's gonna have me standing there 30 minutes to an hour, I'm charging for that. And so she tells me, well, I ain't got no, because I had recently laid some pine straw for her, and I think I charged her like, she already had the pine straw. I think I charged her like maybe like 50 or 60 bucks to lay the pine straw. And she was telling me, I don't have enough, I don't have 50 or 60 bucks, something like that. Basically telling me that she doesn't want to pay me for that. And so I just said to myself, like, no, I can't do your yard anymore. Like I'm done. I'm not doing that. I've had customers that I will pull up and the yard is already cut. They didn't tell me nothing, didn't call me, didn't say anything. So when I see things like that, I just say, look, I even had a customer that didn't pay me. Well, they paid me, but they waited a whole month to pay me. I did their yard. I sent them an invoice. And the crazy thing about it is that I do the yard next door to this person. And I also do like maybe I do 3 other houses on that same street. So I do the yard and knock out the yard or whatever. Send their invoice. No response. Okay. Text her, no response. Text her, no response. Text her for a whole week, no response. Second week, text her, no response. Now it's time to cut a yard again. So I'm over there, because she's on the same schedule with the other people on the street. So I go over there, I'm cutting the other yards. I see her, she see me. She doesn't say anything. I'm like, wow. So I said, okay, I'm not gonna worry about it. Didn't say anything else, didn't worry about it, didn't text no more. I just wrote her off. So then a month goes by. A month goes by from the day I cut her yard initially. So 2 more weeks go by. She finally pays me. And so she pays me right before I was supposed to come back. Like if I was still cutting her yard, she paid me right before I was supposed to cut it again. If y'all understand what I'm saying. So when I come back to do the neighbor's yard, that's when she paid it. You think I went over there and cut her yard? No. You didn't respond to me, then we just don't talk no more. That's it. I'm done. And I was over there today. I cut a yard. I saw her right over there. I just kept working, cut the yards that I had to do, got in my truck and leave. The thing is that sometimes if you have a lot of customers, sometimes that's because you're probably just starting off and then your prices are low, and you got a lot of people because your prices are low. And there's some people that don't care about the price, and you'll start to see those people. It'll be some people that'll say, look, whatever needs to be done, let me know. If you see anything, let me know, and let's get it taken care of. Those the customers and clients that you want. That's who you want. And you'll start to see the ones that you don't want, and you start pushing them out. And that's what I do. But if somebody's always want to negotiate, they the first ones to go once I level up. They the first ones. Yeah, the Abdul, yeah. I may do a video like that. I might, man, but it's so hard up doing these videos, Osama. It's so hard doing videos like that, man. I don't think I'm gonna take like requests for videos, because man, people be telling me to make all type of videos, man. I can't do it. I might throw something in there one day, man. Exactly. Exactly, David. Exactly. Because when I first started, pretty much when I first started, my prices were lower. Uh, I think my lowest yard was like 35 bucks. My highest yard was probably back then maybe 50. My highest yard. Now my highest yard is 100 bucks. But you know, like when I first started, man, I'm telling you, like I said, when I first started, all I wanted to do was pay my mortgage. And so, you know, and then, I was just coming in the game. I didn't have a lot of experience. So that's what I felt like would be good enough for me. And as time went on, when I started having to repair my equipment and buy more equipment and do this and that, and then I started to, and then sometimes like you would know, trust me, if you're not charging right, you will feel it. Nobody has to even tell you anything. If you're not charging the right price, like if somebody pull up and they say, hey man, how much you charge me to, inside and out my car, you tell them 25 bucks, and 2 hours go by, 2.5 hours go by. And then when you get done, you're sweating, your clothes is wet, you're tired, and they hand you $25, and you looking at that $25, and you're gonna already know that that's not enough. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys, a lot of us have done that. And then as time go on, you start going up, and then it comes with experience. You get in these big trucks, these Suburbans, and those big body Armadas and Expeditions and stuff like that. You start getting into those type of vehicles, man. You start getting to those type of vehicles, you're gonna be like, man, them vehicles will take you a long time, and it don't even have to be a full detail. It could be a regular wash, wipe down and vacuum, because it's a lot of areas to be wiped and cleaned, and it's a lot of places that you got to touch, and it's gonna take you time. So you're gonna know when you're not charging enough. You're definitely gonna know that. But like I said, I had a lot of people, and so I dealt with everybody. The customers, the clients, the sometime, I mean, I even would pull up and, like I said, the yard to be cut. I dealt with them. I kept dealing with them, but then like I said, once I didn't have to anymore, I didn't. I didn't. I'm not gonna tolerate it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do it. Because somebody already telling me that they're not gonna pay me extra. They're not gonna pay me no this, or they're not gonna do that. Then why are you calling me? Because I'm not your employee. That's the thing. Some people, some people are older, up in age, and they really feel like you work for them. Some people feel like you work for them, and you have to make that clear from the gate that you don't work for them. You provide them a service. You just like the plumber. You just like the guy that comes fix the AC. You provide the service. You get in, you get out, and you get your money. Some people actually feel that way. You going in, Sporty? What's up? Yeah, Sporty, man. I was documenting. I was documenting from day one, man. I was documenting from day one. I didn't start using Google Calendar until I started getting, because when I first started, I didn't have that many people, so I could keep it up here. It was easy. But once I started getting a lot of people, I put it on that calendar, and then one day, like you said, one day I clicked customize, and I saw you could do every 6 weeks, every 10 days, you can do it however you want to do it. And that's what I use. But guys, this cell phone, man, these cell phones, I'm telling you, these apps, use them. Trust me, they save your life. If I didn't have my phone, and then like my calendar is synced, if I lose my phone, and I get me another phone, all I gotta do is download Google, and boom, everything is there. All I gotta do is log in, boom, everything's there. My phone numbers, my calendar, everything. Exactly. Yeah, cause I got like I save even some of my videos are saved in Google. My videos, my pictures, everything. And then the thing about it is, you know, you can go back like on your calendar. You can go back like Sporties was talking about. You can actually go back and see what you did. You know, sometimes I even put the price. I even put the price by the person's name on the appointment. And you know, but I have Excel. I mean, yeah, I have Excel, Microsoft Excel, where my wife did it up for me, where I pretty much, you know, every day, you know, I put in what I did that day. You know, if it was a detail or a lawn service, lawn maintenance or whatever. I put that on there and the price, and I'm keeping up with what I make every day, every week, every month, every year, and I got it all the way back to 2012 on my phone right now. I can scroll through it, look at it, and I do it from time to time. I go look and see how much money I made. You know, I say, man, what did I make last year in May versus this year in May? You see, to see, you know, if did I beat myself? Did I beat what I did the same time last year, or was it about the same or less or what? You know, right. All right. Well, I've been on here long enough, man. I'm about to get out of here, man. Again, be happy with your success. Till next time, catch you guys in the future. Shouts out to the new wave. Peace.